Welcome to the program. I'm Mark Imperial. This segment's being brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals get their books done to educate consumers, grow their practices, and to leave a legacy. We're doing a series of spotlights on remarkable advisors from across the country. And joining me on this segment from Irving, Texas is Chase Reid. He's the founder of Stonekeep Investments. Chase, welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you, Mark. Happy to be on the call.
Chase, tell us a little bit about your work, and specifically, who are the types of clients that you specialize in helping?
Sure. Yeah, I started Stonekeep Investments 2 years ago after being with another regional asset manager for a long time. And the types of clients that we work with typically come in two kind of buckets. One is someone who's particularly focused on investments and maybe hasn't experienced financial planning at all or even know what could be included in that. And then some clients, the other bucket would be those that really understand financial planning and want to dig into all the details and work on all the various aspects of getting a mortgage, looking into refinancing, or it's a very broad aspect, and we go through everything through the financial planning process. But that's kind of what we do. High level is we do investment management for clients and do financial planning and try and keep it in a as whatever pace you want to proceed through the process. We just work through and make sure that we cover all our bases and help our clients out in any way we can.
So, speaking of those folks that may have put off financial planning and they don't know what it all involves, can you
Yeah.
kind of give us that like a 10,000-foot view of what people should be looking for in a good financial plan? And when you
Yeah.
meet with people for the first time, what does that sound like?
Sure. I think our industry has really evolved over a long period. 20 years ago, if you look back, typically there would be someone who would be more of a stockbroker, and they would work with you to select investments. They would potentially call you up and say, "Hey, I like Apple today. I think it's a great investment for the next 20 years." First of all, kudos to that stockbroker, because it would have done a great over that time period. But typically, it's more directed towards just investments and trying to pick winners. And it's really evolved from that aspect to more of a financial planning or an investment management holistic approach, where a lot of the financial advisors are fiduciaries in that they are obligated to act in the best interest of their clients above all else. So that's what we are to all of our clients. We're a fiduciary, and we'll look at the investment side of it, especially since my background is as an analyst, an investment analyst, picking individual stocks for mutual funds and sitting on the portfolios for those teams. So I still like doing that and getting really deep into the investment side of things. But you can add so much more value than just trying to outperform the S&P 500 if you do tax planning or review the beneficiaries of someone's IRA, because maybe that beneficiary has passed away. It really leads to simplification of one's financial lives, and kind of takes things off their plate for them.
Why do people put off financial planning? Are there any like myths or misconceptions that people hold on to that might keep them from even getting started? What have you heard out there?
Sure. I think one of the things is locating a good financial planner can often be scary or hard to do. I think that there are improvements that have been made in terms of the websites where you can go and search for a local financial planner nearby. But as I mentioned, make sure that's a fiduciary that is going to be on your team and only giving you recommendations that are in your best interest. Other reasons why someone might put off financial planning is because they're maybe embarrassed of what they've done in the past, and maybe they've just put it off for so long that it just feels so so big for them to tackle. And we try and make it simple for them to one piece at a time, whatever they want to talk about, let's move forward on that thing first. We'll get through all the process and you'll get more comfortable over time talking about these things. But knowing someone's on your side is a good reason to share and start sharing and get it out in the open so we can start progressing and helping.
Speaking of mistakes from the past, as you start working with folks, do you find any like glaring common mistakes or pitfalls that like everybody seems to make that you could warn people about?
Sure. Maybe on the investment side of things, specifically to start off with, is typically there's a lot of high cost mutual funds that people might be in, or not understanding the cost structure of maybe if you're working with a stockbroker, how they get paid is something that I think that someone should be aware of and just understand that kind of how that could impact your performance over time. From a financial planning side of things, people tend to um, maybe be more aggressive or more conservative than they think they actually are. And what we do with our financial planning software is we aggregate all the external accounts, bank accounts, and a lot of people hoard cash because they feel it's very safe. And with inflation, it's really a kind of guaranteeing a negative real return on your investment if you're holding cash. So we do a lot of putting cash to work to increase the outcomes potential of hitting someone's financial goals.
I see a lot of people holding on to cash mistakenly thinking that it's not depreciating as an asset.
Yeah.
So for sure. So Chase, like, what inspired you to get into this field? You mentioned your previous, line of work
Mhm.
at your previous company. How'd you get started altogether? What inspired you?
Yeah. So finance was ingrained into me as a child. My father was an investment banker. I knew through his stories of being an investment banker in New York that I didn't want to be an investment banker because those stories are all true. The 90-hour work weeks and so on. But I did love finance and the stock market. And I started investing actually when I was in fourth grade. I entered into these stock picking contests and just kind of kept going from there through the Peter Lynch buy what you know kind of mentality back in the day, and just really followed the markets from there. So as an analyst, I felt like I was contributing to the portfolio, and it was very rewarding. And there's big dollar amounts that are flowing around, but I didn't really have that personal connection with a client and actually seeing what I'm doing help someone. And nothing gives me more excitement and motivation and energy for the rest of the day than when I get off a call and towards the end of the call, a client is saying, every time you meet, I feel so much better, and that just really is awesome.
That is really great that you found your field and your passion like so early on. You've been like doing this all your life.
Yeah, yeah,
So
definitely.
Chase, for before I ask you my last question, for folks that are considering working with an advisor and they don't know where to start, yeah, you talked about it a little bit earlier. What do you feel is the most important thing they should consider when choosing an advisor?
Yeah, I think interview a couple, not just pick the first one that pops up or the friend of friend that gets recommended to you. I really think that it would be good to locate a couple, and post pandemic we can have Zoom meetings or you can go in person, but Zoom making meetings make it really efficient with being able to just pop on two or three and just see who you connect with, see who you feel is genuine, and ask those important questions about how are you getting compensated, are you a fiduciary, I've said that word 7 times at this point, but it's really important to me to make sure that gets across. Um, what kind of services do you provide? Do you just do investment management? Do you do financial planning? Does that go into estate planning for taxable estates? Do you understand children's education accounts and all the options that are there? Can you help with that? And just really testing out different people, not to necessarily um, see if they're smart enough to be your advisor, just who you connect with and who you think can help you do what you want.
Sage advice. I appreciate that. Chase, for folks listening that would love to speak with you, how do they find you, connect with you, and learn more?
Sure, you can find us on our website. It's stonekeepinvestments.com. Or you can shoot me an email. My email is chase@stonekeepinvestments.com.
This has been terrific. Chase, I really appreciate you taking the time and sharing with my audience today, and I wish you continued success for you and for all of your clients.
All right. Thank you so much, Mark. Thanks for having me.
That was Chase Reid, founder of Stonekeep Investments, and this segment's been brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals get their books done to educate consumers, grow their practices, and to leave a legacy. That's all for now. I'm Mark Imperial, and thanks for joining me.